You just record. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Okay, I'm on it.
Chill out. Fucking both of you. Focus up.
Guys, shut up and focus, please.
Oh, okay, boss. Okay.
Gotta go a bit back. No, yeah, that's fine.
May Hanzo with a Baptiste.
Fine here.
They have a good shield break and they can deny our full hooks, but if I take flanks, we can maybe win. Tell me when they full hook, because then I can.
So you said they have good shield break, but I arguably think you actually have better shield break, given that you have Torb and the turret, if you set up correctly, right?
They have
you have but you have Zen and Anna, right? You're not running Mercy. Honestly, I don't think there's really much in it. And if you're worried about the shield break, then how do we have to play? What's the difference in our playstyle if they have more shield break?
We play for flanks.
Exactly, right? So if we're going to play for flanks, then you have to have control of this high ground, right?
slow, please, slow.
Okay.
My English is not better.
if you're gonna not play for shield break, we have to have control of this high ground. We need someone to be able to flank up through here, right? Because that flank is everything on this map, right? If we don't have if we reckon we don't have the shield break, then it's super important someone can make that flank. Okay. I would say probably your Torb, right? It's probably easiest for him to get away with the flanks, given that he can escape faster with his E. That would be my personal preference, but you can put whoever you want doing that, right? Just that someone has to be controlling this side, someone's controlling this side, right? You've always got someone controlling each side of the map, one of your DPS, right?
Okay, fine. I'm on Rusa.
But we
Nice.
for some reason they don't finish off Dire when he gets hooked here, which is like a big fuck up from them, right? It is Dire that gets hooked.
Okay, fine. I'm on Rusa.
Yeah.
I think probably because they back up really hard because of this nade, which is nice from you, Froki.
I think Froki like nades and sleeps the roadhog as well.
Oh, okay.
So
they just back up hard, yeah.
Yeah, and I hook the hog, so he just.
Aplox, on this comp, we can play Genji instead of Torb or not?
Well, on this point here, as on defense,
We can use Nana Blade, and
you could.
I can farm behind this.
If you set up for it, I don't see why not, right? You just have to have the setup for it.
I mean, I don't think. I mean, they have set back. They actually have counters to Nanoblade. So I think it works when they do like Mercy Ana and shit like that.
But it's very, very easy for them to then swap to like dive and destroy your backline. I think it's very easy for them to then change up their comp or go Pharah, right? And so long as they pressure out whatever you've got in this slot, they can counter you so much harder, right? I think Genji's a bit of an all-in play here. I would personally not play Genji. It's a bit like playing Pharah on defense here, right? Although Pharah's arguably better. It's very easy for them to counter it, so I personally wouldn't go for it. But props to you if you want to play it. You definitely could. It would just be difficult to execute it. So anyway, back to the point we were making, right? Is Froki's like, okay, look, we have less shield break. We're gonna have so that means what, right? I think these observations are nice, and you guys make a lot of these, but you then need to follow up that question with, what does that mean for us, right? We have less shield break, then we've got to play for the flanks, so we have to set ourselves up to do that. And if we're like all playing up here, not really easy to set up that crossfire that allows you to get the flank in, or it's not easy for anyone to get around here, and this is then the only flank you have. Anyone can play, right?
So I think I recognize that, but I don't remember if I say it to everyone because I was up here. That's how I got the purple and the sleep. Should we have like two people up here, like me plus Torb or me plus May up here?
On the high ground up here.
Yeah, because I was up there and then I dropped after I got the purple.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, which is fine.
May plays up there. And then Torb plays like here, like defensively for if they have like a dive or whatever.
Yeah. But in which case you need your backline back. It depends what they're playing, right? In this case, we knew what they were playing, right? We saw they come out with this and we said, we have less shield break. So then we need to figure out how our playstyle changes because of that. It's fine. We get away with it in this first fight. But it kind of needs to be reminded each fight, right? So we follow this up. This fight kind of we just pick them apart. They go back and reset.
That's right, because I don't go up here, I don't play it again.
We can pull hook in 2 again.
But we need to
I can't.
recognize, okay, this is how we're going to play each fight, and it'd be nice if you guys, like, each fight say, like, how we're going to play it, right? Where we're going to play super aggressive, where we're going to look for the flanks, where our tank's going to set up, where they're going to fall back to, right? A bit more detail. And it's something you can talk about in your map theory, right? Like, so if they're playing something that's got more shield break than us, then we're going to, like, for instance, we're going to play back behind car. That allows us to get a flank through here. Yes, go ahead, Namja.
How often would you recommend that we do like a what? Nkz, what are you doing? How often would you recommend that we do like a map theory? Like, do you think it's worth just going through every map, or just maybe like planning a couple maps? Like, I mean, what would be your opinion on that?
At this point in time, I would get some like really strong groundwork on a few maps, like probably 4 or 5, and because you don't really have like if you have a map pool to practice, those would be the ideal ones to look at, right? And get some really strong groundwork on them and see what people do to counter you, and then you develop the plan from there, right? So you have, okay, so this is our groundwork. We think that people are likely to play this counter, so we will then swap to this and beat them, right? Or we will then change our playstyle in this way, which means that we then win. Right, so you always have that one step ahead, right? They're likely to counter with this, so we then theory crafted that, and that's probably like your groundwork, right? So that's, and I would do that with a few maps.
We should probably map theory our weakest maps.
Yeah, I think that's smart. We can map theory like Rialto and Hollywood, because Hollywood we just kind of go whatever we feel like. We don't really have a set strat. Sometimes we
one other quick question then, and then I'll let you get back to your VOD review. Would you recommend maybe like 2 times per week, like a VOD review, and then maybe 1 time per week, like a map theory, like, so that's like 6 hours outside of scrim? Or would you recommend more?
Depends how much you're scrimming, right? I mean, you can allocate your time how you like.
So on days we don't scrim, we should, without a doubt, book like a map theory, is what you're saying.
At this point, yes, because you guys are still very early in terms of like the team, right? The development of the team and your strategies. So yes, I would have probably a lot more map theory than VOD review, just because a lot of I mean, it's a mix, right? If you're reviewing the VOD, you can kind of mix a bit of map theory in with that, right? Because you're updating maybe a strategy, but it's kind of hard to review something if you never had a plan in the first place on that map, right? Because it's suddenly like, okay, so now we're going back and now we're talking about what we want to do, right? Rather than like we're just playing this map how we think it should be played. So it's not like everyone's on the same page in the first place. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, that's good. We can do map theory after Italy tomorrow then. That's a good idea.
So, like I said, key in my opinion here is controlling this high ground, because that flank is just really, really potent. And you'll notice that on their defense, they always have their Ash controlling their high ground, or at least pressuring it. But we'll talk about that when we get there.
Okay, no ice block. No.
Come back.
May no cooldowns whatsoever. Bap has 50 ult or 60. They took a diva.
Yeah,
He went off Bap.
they
Let's
have
Mercy now.
see if they get a Pharah then. Doesn't look like they want to.
No, they have Hamza.
Yeah, they
Far.
no way.
No
Oh.
way. Our Prologos
someone-
can actually kill people now if they don't need them.
So I still think here, like, in my eyes, I feel like I would have lethal here pressuring just out the top. In this particular case, right? Because so you set up the widest concave you can possible that way, right? Which is much better.
In case he's going high ground.
Well, what about the shield break? We lack a lot of shield break if I do that.
You're still shooting their backline. The second the shield comes down, you can still shoot the shield, right? If you're aggressive enough.
Wait, where am I supposed to play? Am I supposed to play stairs, or am I supposed to play?
If you're like the top of the stairs, like right before the doorway, because that still gives you somewhere to back up. In the first place, you're poking them as they come around that corner. Ideally, you force a shield out in a really shit position for them, right? And even without you, so long as NKC's down here poking the shield, you're fine. Right.
Okay, because I'm kind of vulnerable to pharmacy if I go high ground.
Yeah, I wouldn't put yourself up on this space.
So what if they're like?
I would be playing up on this entrance.
What if they're on street, for example?
So if they set up their shield here, you're shield to shield with them.
Yeah.
So I would look for downtime in the shield. If you guys are focusing the shield hard enough, I would then still go for this flank. It could still be Zardu doing it, but so long as you're winning that shield war, you can just drop down here. If you guys are playing up this close, then you can still go for this flank, right? Because you still can fall back to your shield. And it's kind of this cycle here where you just put yourself up on the high ground. You maybe get a pick, you maybe don't. You just get some meaningful damage into someone, and then you go back and you play in a stairwell. Because this hard cover here is just ridiculously powerful, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're just playing to break the shield, right? I think part of I understand why you're saying Zardu as well, especially when they had the pull hook in the last place, but here they don't, right? They've got D.Va, so you aren't exactly vulnerable to anything. It's very easy for you to make this flank into this comp now, and although the D.Va can contest you, they can get then hook pull her, right? Whatever. So I would be looking for that flank.
You think Zen is a good character to like maybe play with the person up top so that he gets off-angle damage and the person up top has sustain so they can stay there for a good long while?
Definitely can do.
I mean, you don't have
so long as
shield break.
If you leave your Zen in the kind of like here, right? So long as he doesn't over-aggress because he can't get out like Lethal can, then sure, why not, right? It just means that you have to recognize that you're going to be losing that shield wall, but you're looking for that backline pressure and those picks on their backline. So long as everyone's on the same page with that play style, it's fine, right? But it ultimately depends on like how you want to play this, right? Because you could just, if you put all 6 of you in the space, that's fine. You shoot the shield, but you definitely can't have NKZ doing this if that's your play, right?
Yeah.
Because he is all of your he is a significant portion of your shield break.
So you say don't play on this platform, play inside of the little...
Not at the start, right? So the push out here is when you force them right up against this wall, right down the bottom, when you're shield to shield with them. That's when you can actually look to go like ultra aggressive, right? And bump out there.
I was going to say you're not going to have LOS if you're in this stairwell the whole time.
So once they've been, because the point of it is that you force all of them around here, right? And if you do that, you can get up above them. And that also means that your backline then swings out here, right? And they're pressured to go back here, and it's kind of shit for them. And ideally, you've like won a fight by that point. Because you have a lot of freedom to make this rotation out into them. Is that a bit more clear?
Yeah, no, that makes way more sense. I thought you were advocating just staying in the stairwell forever, but...
No. I would go, like I said, this is the rotation I'd be making. You just don't make the really ultra aggressive portion of it until they've fulfilled their rotation up until this wall, right? Until you're shield to shield with them, there's no point doing that. If their backline is still back here, then your tanks can go more aggressive into their front line, right? Their tanks have nowhere to fall back if you've got someone up here and they can't fulfill a rotation over to here, right?
Quick question: is my position here okay, or should I be on cafe, Zana?
I think Cafe is vulnerable to Hanzo.
Yeah, I agree. Also, you
get
follow if the Pharah directs you with damage boost and then the Hanzo follows up or the Zen follows up. It's not ideal.
So playing with turret better then.
I think so. Yeah. I mean it depends. I think if you had like your whole backline set up here with your Torb as well, then you could get away with it a bit more. But if you're up there on your own, probably not the smartest option.
Okay, so where I am right now is...
I think where you are is good. I think if you structured your whole environment, then I would probably be putting your backline into this space. Your Zen could be playing here and going for that flank, like you said, with Lethal. Lethal's going here, your front line's here, and then Zardu can play like this side of the map right over here. Zardu controls the left, your Zen and your Torb control the right side, and then you're kind of over here, probably on your own, and with a turret, ideally.
Okay.
So then you have someone controlling the middle, this side and this side, right? Which is typically the kind of setup you want with a bunker. You always want someone taking each off angle, or at least being aware that that's the off angle they're supposed to control.
Try to save your pull work and put damage on the D.Va so...
Pharah discarded.
What's it out?
Lucky.
No
Message is
fire.
gone. Max. Max.
Nice, I'm pushing up.
Keep your break. Okay.
Reload. I have a nade.
It's got on
Do you have
fire.
hook? Do you have hook?
Where's the headshot?
Yeah, fair.
I'm low.
Where's the double headshot?
Unlucky.
Okay.
I don't feed
We
them.
got
We have mail.
Should I always stick to my Orisa,
or
or like the reason why I went up here was because of the far, because fars tend to land like up here, and I could get a cheeky hook in and kill
But
her.
you're only up there because you don't have anyone else pressuring there, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Because
ideally, I would be putting you here, like your front line, or both here.
Yeah, so should I just call for like lethal to go up there?
Yeah,
And so
absolutely, yeah. Well, like I said, if you set this out in the first place, then everyone knows where they are beforehand, right?
Yeah, you don't have to call it. Like this is sort of map 3 because
This is basically map theory. Yeah.
So pretty much me and lethal should pretty much switch places here. That's all, and then we have better
pretty
positions.
much, right? And I don't know. I mean, if you said with Dire, you could look for a hook pull over here, and I can go super aggro on here and try and get it. I'm down. I'm down for you making that play, right? We just got to communicate that we're going to go for that.
Yeah.
And then go with mail.
You also, I just don't think you say this at all. Like when you go back up there as well.
We can try to force.
Because if we know you're playing here, we know we have less shield breaks, so we have to change our playstyle very slightly, right? We're going to end up playing back more. We don't want people having to swing across this space, right? We either want them playing over here or playing over here. So we have to know how we're going to position everyone, right? Because you have the choice of putting your backline over here, so your Orisa then has to go back to here. Or you could have your backline over here, and probably still over here, right? But then that means your Orisa's coming back to this position.
Yeah.
Right? And if you've got this all clear before you go into the map, then everyone knows where they're rotating to, and you don't have to... It's so much better when you don't have to think on the fly, right? Because you can then really concentrate on just out-mechanicking them, right? And then everyone's in sync. We all make the same play. And I quite like this rotation back to here if you have someone playing here already, right? Because then you still have Zardi playing over here. You have like the most disgusting crossfire ever, right? Because you have people across essentially all of that space. That is the concave you set up, right? If Dire goes back here, then you've still got your Torb, like your tank is here, someone here, someone here. That is, they're just walking into this massive crossfire. They're completely screwed. It doesn't really make much difference if your front line goes over here, but I think your front line have better protection over here.
I can play way better in here, so
yeah. So long as you have your Torb controlling this position in the first place, right?
Okay, shape
yeah.
Nice. Push up, don't let them push up.
Yeah, that was just a mistake from Dire. Because we don't have the Mercy. And in this means we need to have a plan, right? So we all need to think, okay, we've got to play right back, we've got to use our hard cover, right? And again, if we're setting up the concave like this, then we're pretty good, right? Because we've got lethal going here, Zardu this space, backline here, and then I'd still put you in here, NKZ.
I'm pretty sure I'm going here, and I'm going up here as well. But
let's be all be on the same page here, right? We say, look, we've got to play passive, we've got to play slow. Let's get this big crossfire going, make it very difficult for them to get on point, which I think.
I'm breaking the shit.
I can anyway, because if you want, you can push in.
I think we just massively overcommit with everything. Partially because we're not super set up for this. This was not ideal.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I think the problem here now is you're just up way too far when your Orisa's dead.
Yeah.
So Orisa died a long time before this, right?
Okay, shape that.
So shield goes down.
They pulled dragon after.
Push up, don't let them
and it's not ideal that you end up over here either, NKZ.
Yeah. I was scared of rotating back, because I thought I would just get fucking.
Yeah, I know.
So I just went back here, and then
I understand why you do it in the moment. This is why you have a plan before, because you then default to where you should be, right? And you wouldn't have ever made this cross over to here, which really isolates you, and you just don't have the long range damage, right? You put yourself over here, and then you're completely useless unless you get a hook on someone.
Yeah, like I knew they didn't have a hook, so I just stayed here because I couldn't halt hook me, and if they did halt me, I could just press E and get out.
Yeah.
And I knew we had nano, so I was just waiting, for like an opportunity to get a nano.
It's just not ideal that you end up over there, right?
Yeah, I know.
Because we could have
just rotate. Should I rotate all the way around, or should I just try and?
Well, let's. I mean, we watch what happens here, right?
Nice. Push up.
What are you saying?
Can you give Nat where he should position? I have my own recommendation, but if you could just tell him where you think he should position.
Oh, I mean, we said already, right? Like that Lethal's going to be playing this space, so Nat's going to be supporting him from the stairwell.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm happy for him to be this space or this space with Froki, right? Any of those work.
Yeah, I was thinking where the X was. Once Lethal took out the stairwell, that's where he should be.
Yes.
Yeah, that I completely agree. Yeah. That is probably where I would be too. That's where I'd put the Zen. It's just that you don't want to end up in these situations, right? So there's not much point over analyzing this particular situation, right? Because we shouldn't end up in this, right? It's all about your setup in the first place, so that we all end up where we should be. Does that make sense? And this is why I harped on about it in the first place, right? Like Zardu playing this side, Lethal and Nat playing this side, like Froki, you're back here and your front line's here. We then know where we're going if anything goes wrong or we need to play slow or whatever, and you don't end up with people all over the place. You're always then kind of fluid, right? In what happens.
So the big note is we need to do some big boy map theory.
Yeah, right? Yeah, for sure.
I'm breaking the shit.
I can anyway, Kizzy, if you want, you can push in.
Well, and part of this in my mind as well is like the understanding of you want to be setting up big concaves in bunker in general, right? Even if you don't have even if you aren't playing snipers, right? These concaves allow you to get off flanks, although they don't have to be as severe as the one I've drawn on here. But they're still really important into playing these kind of very static compositions, right? Because that's what makes them so powerful.
You in this.
Looking for purple here?
I'm pushing.
And as I already said, like understanding what our win condition is, right? Like getting those picks if we're not playing for the shield break. Then you have to set up the concave.
Do I need to swap?
Shoot on point.
No. Hands are behind.
Hands on Discord. You have orb, Ferk.
He's going mega. He's
on the
hands are behind you, Lethal.
What did they use? They probably have
And like Dire's just like, I'm going, boys, and this guy's still on the flank. I mean,
I think I'm gonna die.
He got called so many times, and everybody just.
No, you live now. Actually, I think you kill him eventually.
Yeah.
It just takes way too long.
You live, but it was way too risky.
Yeah, lethal dies because he's fucking.
Lethal's the only one that wants to kill the Hanzo, but he's the furthest away of everyone.
a little bit deep there, Lethal, right? So
I got a 3K.
the thing that I said to my previous team is never push through defensive chokes, right? So it's not necessarily a fair rule of thumb, but I just wouldn't let them push through this because they would make mistakes like this, right? If you set yourself that hard rule, you just simply can't make the mistake of getting picked late. If you never push through that kind of position.
Listen, we've set a hard rule of like when we're defending a payload that we're not going to push over aggressively. And today we broke that rule and then we got fucked on Blizzard World. Like we need to follow the rules that we set, boys. That's an in general statement. Like Blizzard World is a beautiful picture of that. We basically rushed the Blizzard World 3rd-point defense when we could have had like a full hold on 3rd-point defense, in my opinion. But yeah, I agree with you. We should set that rule to not overdo it, especially when the entire team's not there.
Yeah, I mean, and I harped on it so much. You know, every scrim, like Namja, I mean, this is probably on you, right? Every scrim, or Froki, if you're paying enough attention. Every time you see someone pushing through a defensive choke, just say defensive chokes, right? What I mean by just like you know what I mean, like these hard chokes that are super difficult for people to break when you were playing goats. It was more relevant in that meta, but it's the same principle, right? Where you know you don't want to be committing through these because getting back out through them is terrible, and the hard cover is so powerful for you. So we just never let someone go forwards of one of like no, never go through there. I mean, this one's a bit unfair, right? You may want to look for a flank hook through there, but regardless, right? We don't want to put people in those like really risky positions. So just every time someone does it, you got just tell them not to be there, right? Because this was avoidable.
like I don't mind someone kind of poking here. It's when you start to cross through here. This is a very wide open space. But when you start to cross through this room out this door, I think that's where you cross the line.
Yeah, I think. Well, the thing is, and he stays here. He stays here, continues to poke, and then he gets pulled, and then he dies.
Where's he?
I think this is the line. Like you don't cross this door is the big one.
Omega, yeah, right.
Oh.
So, why did you swap NKC?
This and to get back quickly.
How far back do you want me to go? The beginning of the previous fight.
I died here.
Far
So
And it
you
was scrappy fight.
you just wanted to get back to the point.
I wanted to get back and to eat barrage. Like it was
Onto Discord.
That's true.
You have orb, Ferg.
I'd say a more positive
Really
play
take walk, shut
than-
up.
I like that awareness of the barrage actually, because I didn't think about that when I was watching this back first time. That's actually really smart. I don't know. Does it get communicated though? That's the thing. Is
I do it always. Like if I make a swap to a different role or different hero, then I tell why and like
I don't know.
Or
Can
I
we
tell her to
listen?
do it
I
and
just
I
want
tell
to listen
why.
to what you say because this kind of makes more sense.
You have orb, Ferg.
He's going mega. He's going mega.
He's on the
His
mega.
hands are behind you, lethal. Like
What did they use?
Because we
I
just
think
go
I
to
said
what they
later
use.
because
Wait,
there were comments.
Hanzo behind lethal. That's across the map, bro.
No, I'm saying to you. I'm saying to you. That's where he is. Not he's behind lethal directly. I mean, that might have confused you, but I meant he is behind lethal. Come and kill him. That's what I meant.
They probably have primo.
The lethal bit was just a direction for you to stop fucking feeding over here and come back to the
Okay,
point.
can we just listen to the comms for a second?
Yeah. Like
What did they use? They probably have primo. Barrage, right?
He's still behind. He's still behind.
Where's he?
Trash can. He was on the mega now.
Oh.
I'm gonna have Bongo in here. Just focus on shield break.
I'm dead.
What is that? What the fuck? So,
Where
where is Zanu?
On the mega now.
Okay,
We need
so
an English.
Well, he's playing where you
I'm
want
gonna
him,
have
but
Bongo in here. Just
he gets
focus
stuck
on
on the
shield break.
they
fucking wall.
just
all the time.
get fucking one shot. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but
I know some
our
mechanics
front line's
are-
not there, and now we have NKZ on Diva, so we can't play anywhere near as aggressively, right? This is when we need the hugest concave in the universe, so we need our tanks like back here, or here, right? Or maybe here.
Yeah.
Either
I
way,
can-
right? We need to be so much further back when we don't have that shield break.
I tend to play a bit too aggressive as Diva.
Again, you're up here.
Yeah, I'm up here.
Well, especially now we're looking to eat that barrage. We want to set up split and we want to set up far back so that he has to
I
really
think-
hard commit for it.
I think I want to set up here or maybe here. I don't know. Or even here.
I mean, cat faces are the most logical option because you have proper cover.
Yeah.
You can easily make sure. If she goes here and barrage is down, you have easy matrix. Just look at the sky.
I actually think
Right
here's
click.
better. You set up in cafe. She wants to play here, right? She has this hard cover here. It's really common for Faris to make that rotation to that position, and a lot of people get caught out because it's getting through in and out of this choke, right? You funnel all that damage in there. It's actually not great. I think it's better that you set up in the open space. That way, it's hard for her to commit to you, right? She has to hard commit in open space, and she does not have nano to make this play, right? And we have NKZ to eat it. So you do it in open space, you're almost certainly going to win, right? Or she's not going to be able to get something off that's really going to win her the fight.
Okay, but I don't think the support should be there, just the tanks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, cafe,
support's absolutely fine. You go in cafe, but I think baiting her into the open space is much better. Given the comp that we're on now, but we need to recognize like the pacing now, right? We've lost lethal, so we want to play right back. It's hard for us to even set up a great crossfire here, so.
We could win with a bongo, but they also have a bongo.
So well, we need to play slow for the bongo, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
we don't really have anything, so we're just kind of stalling. In which case, but either way, this still means setting up far back and setting up like those crossfires, right? Nat probably plays more like a DPS in this case, so he's the one going for this flank.
Okay.
Like right, you'd still be there supporting lethal. Lethal's dead now, so it's kind of your job to at least pressure their backline, so it's hard for them to make the rotation here. Because it just means that their front line's separated on this corner. If you guys are still playing back, then it just slows that pace down a bit, right? And we wait for lethal to come back, and then we can have a fight 6v6.
Yes.
I still don't. It takes too long, NKZ, for you to say I'm on Diva. I'm gonna eat. I'm here. I want to eat this barrage.
Yeah. Or I said it like when I died, or I didn't say it at all.
Yeah,
like,
maybe. Either way, right? Great game sense to recognize that, but we all need to be on the same page that the play here is that we're gonna play for eating that barrage, right? Because that is their win condition here, right?
Yep.
So we just want to mitigate their win condition. So we need to set up. So we need to know how we're gonna play around that.
On the Mega now.
No, Mega, yeah, right side.
I'm gonna have Bongo here. Just focus on shield break.
Do you think it's even winnable when we have none of our DPS?
Now it's not, right? You don't have any poke. So they have nothing to stop them walking onto this point here. So this is like super ultra dependent.
We do back up.
Yeah, we do.
I'm saving sleep.
Play really slow. We can retake.
Yeah, I fuck you.
Just play slow.
First,
I'm gonna touch into.
I'm gonna
touching.
Enter probably.
The Mercy, Nat picks the Mercy, which is fucking huge. This is actually a really nice off angle for you, Nat, right?
Yeah.
In that instance, when the Mercy died, I went for the Hanzo because he doesn't have a pocket and I can kill him. But I think I failed because the far.
But that goes against the play anyway, doesn't it? 'Cause if you go here, she barrages you for free. We said we were playing. Well, we didn't say that, but you thought you were playing for
the barrage.
To eat it. So why would you do something that's counterintuitive to what you picked Diva to do?
I can eat barrage from here like this.
Not if you're dead or demeched though.
Yeah, true.
And she's not gonna barrage. She's not gonna. If she's smart, her win con is getting you demeched, right? You're demeched, then she barrages for free, right? So, and this is what I mean, like thinking that's like a step ahead, right? So you're thinking how you're going to counterplay them, so they're going to have to think how are they going to counterplay the counterplay, right? So now you've gone to this. They have better shield break. They're going to break the shield, and they're just going to poke you until you're demeched, right? That is kind of the play for them because they have more poke than you.
Mercy dead.
But we get this Mercy.
I can touch him forward.
They peel, you get demeched, which isn't great, right? So now we've lost our only defensive play for this barrage. We can't win at this point now, right? This is absolutely done.
Yeah, you sleep the Pharah.
Okay, wait, where? 2, 1.
Nice.
We still can't win this.
Yeah.
Like Nat is fragging the shit out, but we're still not gonna win it, right?
Hey, I slept.
She was sleeping.
Yeah, but you did kill the Mercy before as well. Oh, and then we commit our trans.
I don't remember what I did.
We had Zardu back and
and lethal.
DMAX. It's Lisa.
I'm pretty sure it's like a 3v5 or a 3v4 at the moment.
It's a 3v4.
Well, Mercy's dead. Farah's dead. Yeah, half a person down here.
Is lethal inside here? Like lethal, I don't see lethal, but he's half health, so he's definitely in the fight.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty sure
I'm in the.
That's Zardu. That's Zardu. That's a May.
No,
that's
this
Zardu.
Is it? Oh shit! So that is lethal.
Bro, I'm just chilling by the door. I'm safe game.
So our trance isn't even going to help one of the people who's like low.
I think I'm helping Zardu.
Sword is low, and Dyer's going to get low.
That's what I mean.
I know if you go for the percentage play here, you don't use anything, right?
Yeah.
Because they are outpacing you at the moment. I don't know if we somehow magically make this.
Okay, I'm pushing.
There's a Hanzo behind you.
I remember playing second point on
Okay.
Yeah. No. They could still come back and recontest and win the next fight.
Breaking shield, break shield. Orisa low, Orisa 1.
But you do force out all the ults.
Yeah. Orisa still is good. You have
But now we
orb.
have the barrage.
They have
Barrage.
They still win with the barrage though, right? That's there you go, right? Well.
Yeah, because so from what I'm gathering, we need to actually play. We need to recognize what our win cons are and how everyone needs to, and then play around them and not, botch the plan once we've done.
NKZ, you gotta. If we have a win condition built around you, you just can't.
Well, I mean that's just it, and that is the mistake that kind of every team makes. Like the first thing you need to identify in any fight is what is your win condition, and not just that, what is their win condition, right? I think the most important thing is to recognize what their win condition is. And then, okay, how can we either mitigate the effect of that win condition or do something proactive that's going to be more effective?
Like, when I responded, I thought of it, and I was like, okay, I'm going Diva, so my win condition is how I'm going to play. But once I got here, I just had a completely different mindset and did.
Well, it happens,
One
right?
second, I just want to make sure. Can I do something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to make sure everyone's here and understands. Lethal, integral. You understand that we are what our plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we're identifying win condition, their win condition, our win condition. We use that to fix.
They using win condition.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, no, I think that's good because we know there's some breakdown of communication sometimes.
I just want to make sure he understands, like everyone understands. That's all.
Because that's kind of the basis of everything I've said is about like understanding like how or what you're going to do, right? Like for instance, like we said, we got more shield break or less shield break, so we're going to play this way or that way, right? That was the whole principle of this first bit that I was talking about, right? About how we're setting up where we're going to play, and like, yeah, that's map theory too, but it's also how you're going to adapt to a particular play style or whatever, right? Because their win condition was to, for instance, have more shield break in the first fight, right, when there's no ults in an even game. So it's all about like understanding that, right? So we lose to the barrage because I mean, they had so many ults anyway. It would have been a massive fuck up if they hadn't won this fight, because they did have the ult economy on you.
We all have that spawn.
But they don't really play it in an ideal way.
DPS can swap whenever. It's fine.
Alright.
Yep. I'm just gonna stay for nano.
Yeah.
So I would have liked if you'd stayed Diva here, NKZ. Personally, I think on second point it's really powerful, just because this high ground is really important for you. Unless you set up your front line on high ground, you then end up set up in a crossfire, right?
With my Diva, I know for a fact that I'm just gonna int into the the hunter's gonna get pocketed or the fire's gonna get pocketed. I'm just gonna int into them, so I just decide to go Rota because I don't have a Mei. So I can have more freedom with like.
Well, and this is it, right? Why you do the map theory in the first place? If you know what you're going to swap to for second point, you can set up in such a way that that doesn't happen, right? That you have the support in place to be able to do your job, right?
I mean, also I said I was staying for nano, so if you really wanted to go up into the high ground, I'd rather nano Diva than like Roadhog or Orisa or some bullshit.
That's true.
Because like at least you can go maybe assassinate someone and survive, whereas the people on the ground, they can just run away and their fire can just fly away, and we can't do shit with the nano.
That's
so I think
true.
if you go hog, I should probably just go Mercy.
I also think the Mercy would be nice on the second point, though.
I agree.
Because the control of the high ground is everything, right? That is what defines the second point of Hollywood, is this high ground.
The double cypress will be.
It is, if you set it up correctly, right? Which we're going to go on to talk about now, right? So I made that point before about like controlling the 3 zones, right? Like, so your tanks and supports in the middle usually, and then 1 DPS left, 1 DPS right. So you want to think about how you can do a setup similar to that, kind of on whatever point you're going to be playing double sniper. So when we do eventually come back in for this retake, right, and we get our tanks set up wherever on cart, I think we maybe go hay bells. Then we need to have someone over this side and someone over this side, right? For instance, our Hanzo up here and our Widow playing this long sight line, right? Same principle when we end up playing back here, right? If someone's going to be playing right side and someone playing, I don't know, wherever they're going to be playing left side, or maybe back on, if maybe not even quite as severe as that, they're playing here, then someone's up here and then someone's down here. No matter what, you're still setting up a crossfire, right? And with these supports as well, what is the key to our healing?
It's
Distance.
You need LOS, right? That is the problem here. And if we end up taking a lot of this high ground, you won't have heals. You won't have heals, and that is a problem that we're gonna see going into this second phase. Is we don't recognize that, right?
The only thing they have is bomb.
I probably wouldn't, and if we stay on this, Froki, probably not ideal to stay. Like you've already said, right? The nano's kind of really subpar. I actually just think going Mercy and just if you get a single useful res off, you've had more value than a nano could.
Yeah, I agree. Especially if we don't have a Diva.
Yeah, right.
Close here.
So I think it's just about being on that same page about how we're going to play this, right? Because this nano's not going to get us value.
Something I noticed we do in general is like we overweigh alt economy sometimes with like our hero. Like some people have already switched and we'll just keep an alt because we have an alt. I think sometimes we have to get out of the habit of saying, "Oh, we have this alt," and just look at the greater good of the entire comp, if that makes sense.
Yes.
For sure.
Also, another problem with not having Diva is good luck getting out of these fucking doorways.
Sorry.
For all of your health profile.
But we get this split off, and Zardu pressures them back, right? The power of crossfires, right? They can't shoot at both doors.
Which is good, right?
Yes.
Because we fucked our comp, we can't take high ground. We can get out, but we can't really take high ground.
No, and you can't control the high ground with this now, right? Not easily. Playing this with the Mercy, I think, is actually, in my mind, what is best for you guys as a team. Just because NKZ is so much better on the hog. And the high, you know, your DPS can control the high ground absolutely fine if they have the support of a Mercy. You just need to think about it before the map, right?
Hold on, I'm going to toilet. Like 20 seconds.
Whatever you said.
Do you want me to wait for Froki?
I would recommend it because he's the most engaged
okay.
in this VOD review.
I'm gonna fill up my glass really quickly then.
Any NKZers in the chat? What up?
Oh, why the fuck? I'm just listening in.
No, I didn't say you're not listening. I was just saying it to any NKZers. That's all. Calm down.
Nah, and you hoggers, man. Fuck.
Oh, I was about to say the N-word. No, guys.
no.
Any Nick Zer.
Bro.
And then,
Pretty sure this is being recorded. So.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. Is Froki back?
Okay.
Okay.
You said 30
Any
seconds.
Nichols in chat?
No.
So I mean, I can go
Yeah,
back.
you
Go back to what I was saying, rather than wasting any time, right?
Yeah.
We want to set up that
Can I
crossfire.
just say one thing?
So yeah, go ahead, Namja. Sorry.
No.
What we,
That's not important. You go ahead.
okay,
It's
no. It's just nice if we come out with this crossfire setup, right? Which I think we're almost doing, because you kind of do it intuitively, even though that you guys will end up in the same place a lot of the time, which isn't ideal. Oh, welcome back, Froki. Okay, well, we'll carry on, right? So like I said, we set up this crossfire, so we have someone go here, we have one of our snipers take maybe this high ground. Even if our tanks are just playing here, which is kind of shit, right? We've got to take the space slowly. So we end up with our tanks here, someone's here, right? And then this person comes round. So long as this person stays in LOS, we're fine, right? The tanks can move up to here. Just, you've got to remember how you have to set up this kind of comp, right? And this is so much easier with Mercy, again, because it means you can get so much pressure up on this high ground.
Right. Quick question. Should me and the Orisa just fucking go straight to the payload, or like their front line, the Orisa, and pressure her so the Diva has to drop and we get attention?
Definitely.
So the snipers.
I mean, it should all happen simultaneously, I think, is the key, right? You guys going here, whoever's taken this position can start moving this way. Whoever's up here can start moving up to close, right? It should all happen as one unified movement because we're one team. You don't want to think about being 6 individuals. You want to think about being one team, right?
I have the tendency to like wait for one of the Pharah or the Diva to overextend a tiny bit on the edge to kill one of our DPS so I can hook him.
I don't think that's a problem in this particular case because you can't take this high ground, right? You simply, because you can't get LOS on someone that's taking control of it. It's very hard for you guys to pressure it. They have so much more high ground pressure with the Pharah and the Mercy and the Diva and the Hanzo, right? You guys just lose this high ground war.
Yeah, but so what's the better play? Me waiting here to try and hook something, or me going straight to the payload with Orisa?
Well, if you and your Arresta get around behind and you can get a pull hook off on the Pharah, then you win, right?
Yeah.
Or on the Mercy. Both of those mean that they can't take the high ground. So getting around behind them, I think, pressures them back inadvertently anyway, right? Your tanks, you take space, they then have to move backwards.
Because I feel like this is guaranteed pressure, and this is like a risky.
Yeah, you may or may not hit the hook. Yeah, I understand. The only difficulty is if you separate yourself from your DPS, you can't peel that effectively, right? Hog is so effective at peeling if you get that hook. So I think everyone just has to be on that same page, right? Like, they can go super aggro, they have a lot more mobility than us, right? Don't split yourself up too much. If we're playing this, that's in this particular case, and like I said, this is, in my opinion, not the ideal comp. Right? The Mercy makes all the difference here, I think. just because you then have that extra peel. Because this comp, you know, with all this mobility, this guy and this guy, they have so much more mobility than you, right? Very hard for you to mitigate the effects of that. If you come out with this comp, you probably just walk out a 6 and walk here, right? And just break their shield. And then you can take the crossfire once you've taken that space. Because I think the only way you're going to pressure them back is by pressuring the Orisa off, right?
Because then their D.Va wants to...
Because then their D.Va has to peel, the Pharah has to come back and break the shield. Because you can't duel them because you don't have the Mercy. But that's a compositional thing, right? And that issue's incurred because of the composition. And I wouldn't be playing that composition in my mind. So
D.Va's top right. I'm pulling in 2.
We somehow
On the right one.
pressure them back here. Well, you guys start taking his place and they start moving back anyway.
I'm pushing up.
And we do end up with the crossfire, sort of, but it's not ideal because we now have no LOS on our Hanzo, right? He's completely free for them to take any space, to kill him. Sorry, I can't speak. He's just a free pick for them now.
No Paul.
You down, watch out.
So and this is where crossfires are important, right? If you guys can't see each other, it's not a crossfire. Right?
So should Lethal like play on the jail or like far up here?
He could go super aggro, that works.
Yeah, I should go super aggro, they don't have Widow.
True, it's difficult
They
for
do
them
have
to punish you.
they do have a Pharah, like if you get close enough to the Pharah, she could like destroy you.
But for no reason, they just backed off all the way into their space.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they gave up all this space, because they have the mobility and the pressure to keep control of this high ground, and that would mean couldn't. There's no point analysing their play. They're just idiots for going back this far. They give you this free pick.
They're just super scared of Lethal for some reason, I think.
Yeah, they do give too much respect here.
Yeah, they should, or else they're getting one tap.
But Zadu here, you need to be aware that you can't get support from your team, right?
Zardu's not here, so just
okay. Well, I'm recording it anyway.
Pretend
right?
it's
Oh yeah, my bad.
He just needs to know that he cannot get support from, right? No LOS from no one. In any case, he can't hook the target off you. And then the second you commit anywhere near here, you're gonna get blasted. I actually think it's okay for Lethal to be playing back here. Zardu has to then be taking this space, right? He has to be up on this bridge. Only way that he gets supported.
If only we had a Mercy.
Right. If only.
Did I rest? I agree.
I'm pushing up.
And then I think you said you're playing for the nano. You have to use the nano, right? You have to use the nano. That has to be in your mind here.
I think after this rest, you should just straight up commit it to me, because they will try to take more space because they got the rest off, and then once you nano me, they have to instantly back up more, and I feel like in that time I can get a pick.
I mean, if I was going to stay Ana, which I think retroactively is a bad play, I would want more value out of my nano than making them walk back for a couple seconds.
That's true.
Then I don't have time.
Well, either way, we're not going to play Ana in this situation again. So let's maybe not overanalyze it.
Yes, let's continue.
The problem now is that Lethal then tries to take this right side. Right, we already have Zardu over here. Lethal, you want to be going this way. Right, we need the left and the right side controlled. Otherwise, we end up with this Pharah, right? She then has this free off angle. That's not free. It's not completely free, right? But it's much easier for her to take than if you'd moved to this position, right? Or walked around, cleared it, and then taken the high ground. Then she's pressured right back. And you then have a beautiful crossfire with Zardu. Right?
I'm supposed to play Mega, right? Like left side.
Yeah, I mean, I would move to this position, clear the, I don't know what you call this, street or whatever.
But the far has like 3 LOS over here, and then chills.
But so long as you've got support from your supports, right? Your supports are here.
Yeah.
Right, they've got LOS on. Ideally, Zardu's here, or even, I mean, I see him playing here, but he just doesn't have LOS on anything, so maybe here. Either way, so long as...
Wouldn't it be better for me to play like here? These stairs?
Yeah, that's fine. So long as you pressure this side of the map, that's cool, right? And you could play this the other way around. you could play Zardu playing left side and you playing right side, which usually ends up with you playing the longer sight line, right? Like, because you have the long sight line from here and from here, and if your tanks for some reason end up back here, then you have the longer sight line, which is kind of always better for you on Widow. But it depends what way around you guys feel more comfortable setting it up, right? So long as you don't end up on the same side of the map, where we end up with this really lopsided comp, right? Because they're going to go around this, they're going to pressure hard this side, and then we just end up rotating backwards, right? Because of the way that they pressure us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we have no pressure over this side of the map. And if they're taking control of this side, you innately follow that curve, right? So we're just going to curve back here. Because we're going to get pressured backwards.
I'm
Pulling into.
breaking shield. You ready, Scott?
Forest behind you.
Hook to Orisa, Orisa point.
Farah, Discord.
But
One more.
this Farah like massively overcommits for some reason. And loses them this fight. Basically. No, this bomb actually is huge.
I didn't have my E, so I insta-did.
One more.
But we commit this nano to you, like we said we were going to. And I think you just end up overcommitting right here, because I don't think we'd recognized what their win condition here was. I don't think we'd even recognize that they had bomb. Or if we
did at the start, but we forgot pretty much. We didn't do anything about it. Hook to Orisa, Orisa point.
Farah, Discord.
Well, you don't do anything to stop
One
it. You
more.
just play in a way that you can take cover quickly.
exactly right. We didn't recognize what their win condition was and didn't play around it properly. I think is the key.
Farah 1.
Original golden.
But you're still even, right? You still, in fact, you should probably still be winning this because they are 1 DPS down.
I'm fine.
So now they're 2 DPS down, so we should definitely be winning this, right?
Unfortunately, I can't heal him because no man.
Yeah, because well, this is it, right? No LOS. So now he's gonna. So now Zardu gets traded.
Hanzo dead.
Eventually, takes his time. We are even. Now I think we will play way too passively here. So they've got no DPS, right? And
the D.Va has no boosters and is in a pretty bad
and they have
position.
less sustain than you, right? You have Ana Zen. I still think you should be playing Cart here, but we just give it all up. You play Cart here, you win or you burn a load of time, no matter what, right? No matter what, it's going to be fine for you. You're going to get back in and you're going to get another fight. It's going to be late and it might not be ideal, but you could always swap to dive, right?
Yeah.
Anyone? I don't know, because especially when they've only got this much time left, I think you're going to burn enough time, or you should probably win it, right? They can't kill your Orisa.
Yeah, because if they want to commit the D.Va to shooting her in the back, she's going to peek me and Zen with the Discord on it.
And Lethal. Lethal stood on Saloon right now. I'm jail right now.
So I think... who says go back? Do I say
Dire,
play slow?
I think. Listen.
Okay.
I'm on Mercy.
They're gonna raise on top.
No, Dire just decides to leave.
He doesn't say.
He's
He's like, I'm fucking.
And then Froki, you say go back. But we've actually got a pretty decent like setup going. I think when we were set up here.
Very, very slow.
Okay.
So you like I understand like play slow is fine, right? But I think you need to understand what that meant in this context, right? It was just we just stay on cart and contest it. If they actually have, yeah, there's still only 4, right? So you're still 4v4. And I don't know, with the cart here, you've got pretty even spawns, don't you think?
Yeah.
I'd probably fairly even. Hard to say without measuring it, but it's pretty close. So it's kind of not ideal that we give up all this space
double
here.
Sniper now, they got double sniper.
I have nade for your pull whenever you want.
Double sniper now, they got double sniper.
I have nade for your pull whenever you want.
What? Wait now.
They got double sniper with Mercy.
I'm breaking
They
the shield.
have the advantage over us.
I'm on shield.
I'm
Okay,
breaking
play slow. We can't break the bomb.
Pull dragon. You don't pull dragon.
Wait. No?
Okay, doesn't matter.
Breaking
So you
bar?
force the trans, which is nice.
I think, yeah.
What do we
that's
have
weird.
actually going into this ult? So what's our win condition?
So pull dragon will force their trance. Then we get a better trance and push them with it, and hopefully kill
The
someone.
real maybe Bongo.
That works.
If you can
Well,
choose
how
it,
else?
but
How else could we set something up? Mr. Froki? What would be the ideal play?
Ideal play. So you probably need to force trance.
In like some magic scenario, what would be the magic play where you
get a pull hook without him using trance and don't let them res it so they have to back off.
I think in my mind the ideal play is the pull dragon with an anti because of the comp you're playing, right? But that would be ideal because you trade 1-for-1 ults and you win the fight. If you got a 6-man anti and a 6-man, then you need to be set up for that. But I don't think we recognize what our win con is here.
Yeah, I should have said that because they said pull dragon, I think, but I need to recognize what the fuck that means for me. Go into jail because I'm not going to get an aid from here. They're just going to shield it.
Yeah.
Or up there, yeah, it's fine. Just somewhere I can get an off angle and then throw nade.
Yeah, and we wait for them to be in the right position, right? Zardu, don't throw it too early, right? And then we make that our play. But I don't think we recognize, like, we had a lot of time before this, right? So we gave up this kind of without recognizing what situation we're in. I don't think we'd quite recognized who was dead. We maybe lost track a little of how this was, or maybe Dire's just too scared.
They don't have res. They don't have res.
So we give this all up.
They got double sniper now.
So we've given this fight up. So we basically said this fight is lost. So then what needs to happen now?
Play slow, wait for our respawns, and find out our win condition and what they want
So
to do.
that's what I'm looking for, right? Is we need to communicate what we're doing into this next fight, right? The first things like ult track would be the first thing, right? Where are they at with their ults? Then it'd be okay. So what ults do they have? What's their win con? What's our win con? And how are we going to play into that next fight? Right? That's what needs to be communicated because we've essentially said that this fight is over. We're going to the next fight. So you then need to do the whole cycle again, right? Which always starts with that ult track. Right, as you're well aware, always after that fight, you always do that ult track. So we basically said this fight is lost here. So I'd be looking for that ult track and the calling of what the win con is and what we're doing into this next fight.
I've made I think that's on me. Should have, because I'm sort of still thinking this is the same fight.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes you do have to do it mid-fight, right? There's a soft reset. I think even when you were up here, right? And Dire's falling back, I'd probably still be thinking about what are they looking to do now, right? It is difficult to have that much awareness. I'm well aware.
I mean, I don't care how difficult it is. If it makes you the best player in the
but
world.
that would make you the best player, right? If you can actively track 6 ults and call the win cons and whatever, then you're going to be fucking good.
I'm pretty sure NKZ could call the win cons. He has a big enough.
It has great awareness. It's just about vocalizing them, right? About being really clear that everyone knows.
So theoretically, Froki could do most of the win conditions, and NKZ. I mean, sorry, could do most of ult track, and NKZ could call out win conditions.
I mean, I don't ever want to put the
nice
onus
between them.
Exactly, that's the key. I think it's about sharing the load.
We already do it. Like sometimes I do ult tracking as well. Like Froki asks like any more ults, and I use my mega memory brain.
Yeah,
for 10 minutes.
The way the best teams work, from what I know, like Vancouver and Shock, everyone, if they know what's happening and they have a win condition or a plan, they can say it. It's not like confined to two people.
No, I agree. Everyone should say it, but half our team has a problem with English, dude.
Yeah, true.
Pretty sure all of Vancouver Titans can speak Korean fluently, bro.
No, this is true.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I don't think it's something we can't implement. Like,
no, I think we can, and I think
like Nat can make a play. I'm pretty sure Nat has a pretty decent brain, but he doesn't generally like take command of the comms that often. So,
I do agree, and I've DM'd Nat a few times that he should communicate.
Okay, I'm just aware. Let's not waste too much time here because I'm aware that we're at that hour and we're 5 minutes through the VOD. So let's that's an hour for 5 minutes, boys.
Okay, play slow, we can't break
that 5 minutes when we play it again in the next vlog will be the best one.
Quick question. Quick question. I like when we're playing like Hogarisa and then we pops a bongo and we don't have one. I really hate to play in the front line.
You give up. You give up on breaking the shield because they have more shield break than you. So you fuck off for a flank.
I just fuck off and go for a flank. Try to kill bongo or try to hook someone. I missed the hook, but I detect the
when
bongo
they have
completely
bongo.
free.
How good is going for a flank? In theory.
If the enemy doesn't really realize,
If they're not shit, how good is it?
if it's like Eminence, then it can be really powerful, but it depends on.
If the team is not shit, how good is it? Right? You're gonna get burned, dude. You're gonna get Discord and you're gonna get pulled, and you're just gonna die instantaneously. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay, listen. They have a diva, okay? I realize they have diva, no hookers, okay?
Okay.
I go here, only like a.
You go here.
The widow's not
one
gonna
shot.
shoot me. Hanzo might shoot me.
I just think if they're aware, you shouldn't be able to get away with it, right?
You got punished quite a bit today because he's making
today. Yeah, I mean, slowly I got better at not feeding as diva or Holger. So.
Yeah, but
there's a balance between off angling and knowing when to DM the shield too.
Yeah, but I'm a diva. I mean, a fucking.
Because this isn't even, it's not even like it's a losing fight, right? They can just get no value from this. They've got 1.5 minutes left, and you're on defense, right? Do you need to make something happen? Do you need to take a risk here? Because I think the answer is no.
Just play slow.
I don't think there's any reason to take this risk here.
I wasn't going for the risk yet. Like I was just checking a bit, like not even going for the hook yet. Like seeing if there was an easy pickoff, and if I detect there's no way I'm gonna like do anything here.
Okay, I don't know.
I just
still think it's. Yeah, okay. I mean, if you just look through the door and then go back, I guess you're fine.
Yeah. It's more value than
just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
So, okay. I understand.
I killed the bongo in the end.
Okay, well, let's see what happens.
Wait, no? Okay, doesn't matter.
Breaking bongo. Bongo done.
I mean, they are pretty damn focused on what's going on in this over here, so it's not that bad. But I think a good team punishes you, right?
Yeah. Zen knows you're here. I mean, he's looking at
I don't know what, like, this.
I'm pretty sure he's calling out. I'm pretty sure he's calling out that you're there.
He's straight up looking at me in a Scottish accent, but fucking screaming as a whole.
So still, key here is setting up our crossfire, right? So we probably needed Zardu up here and Lethal playing this side, right? Or whatever way around we're going to play it. That's still fine, right? We don't want both of them playing in the same spot, holding each other hands. Because then Edin is like, "Whoa, I'm just gonna like go ham and kill them both," which is what happens. And he's like, "Oh look, oh here's a quick 1v1. Oh, and then another 1v1. Oh yeah, that's nice. Thanks for that. Right, this is why we set up crossfires, right, where you guys can see each other and you can both see him and you both shoot at him at the same time. That is good, right? Well done. But if we don't do that and we both play here, then he goes bang and then goes bang, and then there's nothing you can do, right?
I think I should play Jail and Zardu should go Salon.
Yeah, Zardu has like he can climb up and off like every single time.
That's absolutely fine, right? Just need to communicate it between the two of you, right? And set it up. I mean, I mentioned this briefly before about deciding who's playing. I did, didn't I, when we were playing together?
Yeah,
I mentioned that we want to like make sure that we're not playing on top of each other. You just have to keep on top of it, right? Always be aware that that's what you want to com when you're playing this double sniper. You know, if you, like I said, if you guys have a goal channel, Zardu's and Lethal's goals, I'd be telling them that they got to make sure they don't play the same on top of each other, so they communicate it, right?
I would like to know that that's literally in the goals.
I think all three.
Fun fact! I got a nut rig right here, and that's when it started.
Okay. Yeah, you do. You get pretty mad after this. So every time he peeks, I get a no reg, even though it's the first no reg of the map. But and for some,
my mental goes crack.
I'm not really sure why we don't have awareness of him going for this, because once he's up here, I don't see like any other play other than him going around this.
So many crazy angles. Like on Rialto, we literally let him go around Mega. Everyone was calling it, but no one did. No one like stacked behind shield. And we're just like, fuck it, let's all get picked off by Mega.
If he's better, he just goes here and he just kills everyone, right? He just shoots you all in the back and you're all dead.
Here he's just killed both of our snipers, so who the fuck's gonna contest him?
True.
But this was an in general thing that we just gave him space that like shouldn't have been given in general, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, like it is calmed actually. I don't know. It's a losing fight, I think, regardless. When both our snipers get fucked. I'm not sure we can win this anyway.
I'm gonna transfer.
This position from your Orisa is not ideal.
The thing with Dire is Dire played a good monkey, but his Orisa was kind of lacking.
I'm pushing up, I'm on the... Pulling Zen.
What causes you to trance, by the way?
Okay, I can't.
Widow is
I'm
Hanzo.
sure I was killed for push up with me.
I'm gonna trance. I'm trancing.
I'm pushing up.
He's like full HP the whole.
Okay, they have a bad shield. Push
I
up with me.
I'm gonna trance. I'm trancing.
I'm pushing up.
I think we trans to go aggressive.
That we need
But-
to, yeah, okay, and but,
Right, then you just
but
say,
meanwhile, Edin's got the fucking freest spot in the world with both our snipers. Like he's uncontested, going aggro. It's just you're simply not set up to do it, right? I think. Yeah.
And we don't have a mercy.
And you don't,
I'm pretty
not
sure
having
I wanted
not
to
having
go
this mercy
aggro.
has like fucked you up so hard this whole point.
I'm pretty
Don't
sure.
fuck with Zaro.
I'm pretty sure I wanted to go aggro because they didn't have trance. They just used it.
right, then
But
super
I
aggressively
probably-
go aggro,
I
go
did
aggro,
it.
go
Yeah,
aggro.
go hard, go
I
hard,
did
go
it
hard.
all.
And even better right now, if you want to get the maximum value, your tanks are both fucking 100 HP when you press Q, right? They have already gone hard. They are stood in the middle of the enemy team, right? They're
Yeah.
fucking them, and then you press Q. Right? Because that way
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get the most value possible.
I'll try to do that more often when I see the Zen trances and I have the trance to
And
go
this
for.
is, again, kind of about recognizing win cons, right? They fuck all this shit up, and it's like, okay, well, look, we have our chance. We can make that a win con here. We just fucking yeet ourselves into their team.
Okay.
Bad shield. Push up with
But
me.
it has to be common. then.
It does. It just has to be communicated, yeah. Meanwhile, our DPS are just getting like hard butt rapes, and I don't think anyone in this group of people has any idea that that's going on. Really, I don't think we have any idea how much pressure there is on our DPS.
Yeah, I don't know whether Widow is.
Pulling Zen.
Okay,
Okay, I
Um,
can't.
Widow Discord.
I'm just hiding at the moment.
Widow's still top.
And then I don't think. Okay, so we do say Widow's still top.
Yeah,
I'm bowling here.
I think I say it because I'm
Widow is
gonna
top
get
right.
fucked.
Dead.
That's so. Oh, Widow is top right. It's so like. It should be like Widow's top right. You know. You know what I mean? Like they bring the urgency up because this Widow is about to fuck your whole team in the ass. I mean, again. I still think this is kind of lost.
Yeah.
This is Giga lost, which
But you want to play every fight like it's winnable, right? No matter what. Like apart from committing ults. Because you want to burn all the time you can.
I knew the Widow was up here and I want to do something about it, but I already used hook on the diva to try to demac her. So I was just completely useless. I could spam her like fucking 50 HP off her, but that's it.
Yeah. I mean, okay, we're gonna lose this anyway, right? So we lose.
Yeah.
That's not. So this is fucked.
I'm gonna
We get a few people get staggered here, which isn't great.
Die faster.
That's fine. So we're coming back in for this retake. Sorry, I just want to get to the. I want to get to the attack because I do want to talk about that.
You think I should have gone Baptiste immediately, or Mercy is fine?
I think. So. I don't think that. I mean, how important is the high ground? I guess is the question.
Not important because people got staggered here. We're not going to be able to take a fight in this area. We're going to have to take a fight in this choke.
100%.
And then there is no high ground. for us to
Absolutely.
take. I can just sit behind the corner and farm value with that.
I completely agree. And on that note, right, that means we're playing here. Right, we're playing this choke. This choke is fucking dog shit, especially when the win condition's this. Right, so recognize their win condition, play in a position that's hard for them to execute it, right, for instance, through this choke. So this is what we do. We push up and we just lose to that diva bomb, right?
wait. Yeah.
I'm just skipping through it because it's not really worth talking about it. Oh no, is that it's the next fight? What the fuck? Sorry.
Pushing up.
I mean, this fight, that's still pretty aggro. shit.
Unlucky.
Widow Discord.
Can you break?
We are still too far up here because we can't really set up a crossfire. This is pretty manly when they have sights up.
there.
Yeah, like what? No, so part of the problem here is you get
No, he's making.
you get sonicked, which you didn't realize, and neither of your tanks communicated it. I don't think this is something that actually happens a few times, but I know I kind of wanted to focus on more of the basic shit, but we don't call the sonic arrows nearly enough. It would be great if you did, because the shit like this wouldn't happen. Because she knows exactly where you are, right? And she she goes from like contesting this top. She's like, oh wait, there's a free kill, and she presses Q, and then she's like, well, now and then you press. It's kind of unfortunate because you grapple at the same time she presses ult. And now you're fucked.
Unlucky.
Give it a score.
Can you break the bongo?
I don't see it.
Oh, I think I get a no-rake here as well.
You're alone.
I'm not
Wait,
sure.
yeah,
No,
okay.
I didn't.
So this
I just died.
needs to be hard commed, NKZ. You got your big boy. You're gonna go solo this diva. We know what's gonna happen here.
I was so close, dude. Fuck.
But I think kind of before this point, I think Lethal, when she presses Q and you're like super out of position, you need to say I'm out of position, right? We're 6 people. We're a team. Your team should be here to bail you out, right?
I think I went for the play to help Lethal, but I don't know why I did that.
He's dead already when you go for it.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
He's quite a long
Can
way
you break
dead.
the bongo?
I mean, there are boxes over here. If you don't hit boxes, I can res you. Otherwise, fuck.
Yeah, and the dragon split me
I
off.
just think you needed to comm that you needed help, right? Like either you didn't recognize your out position, which you should have done, and if
No,
you
I was.
and
I
if you did
didn't
know,
comment.
then you need to we need to reposition our teams so that we can help you.
I just didn't see any way of me escaping, so I just accepted my loss. Lol.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then don't play the passive angle. Burn time. You're on defense. Get your tanks to bait them in to your sight lines here, right? I think that's the play. If you physically can't get out, every fight's winnable if you can play around it, right? So in my mind, the only play there is you're like, I can't get out. Like they have to use you as bait, right? Or ideally, they're focused on your front line. They just walk in and you just shoot them as they walk through you, right? But either way, your defense here, you're burning their clock. The longer it takes you to die, the better, right? Because I think you go back in for an aggressive peek here after fucking this up.
Unlucky.
Give it a score.
Can you break the bongo?
I don't see it.
I think you probably. It's hard to tell. I think you probably could have played a more passive angle. I don't know if you remember. But in my mind,
not sure
that's
why I
how you
went for
make
that.
how you make best of this position.
Like, if you call for help there, I can literally just walk over to you and...
Fat man in the way.
Yeah, just be a fat man, and if the diva, like the widow won't be able to kill you then. And if the diva comes, I'll just fuck her up, and if...
It's
like, if anything
it's
comes-
just a miscommunication, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was in a bad spot, but I'm like pretty sure I hit the
So
shot on my
again,
screen.
this is right. NKZ, I don't know. Like if you're going for this, I'm down, but we need to be making use of it. With Zardu going hard, Dire taking all the space in the world, right? They are all gonna go for you.
And I used my E, so I knew I was dead
meanwhile,
there.
we're
I
just
just
kind
tried
of-
to get a kill there.
We're just kind of chilling.
I recognized I was dead there, and I don't see my ult as a very useful ult.
Sure.
Personally.
I'm not sure why
So
you ended up going here after rotating.
Dragon. There was a dragon. That was not really a good dragon, but I thought it was.
It's a shit dragon.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was a dragon. It would have cocked me if I would have.
Either way, this is something if I was doing a one-on-one, that's what we'd talk about. That's why the fuck do you end up in this spot? And again, don't communicate it. We don't push hard enough, nearly hard enough, right? Because everyone's going to go for you. We need to capitalize on any mistakes, right? No matter what, whether that's someone out of position, someone. You could call that as a play, right? But we need to use it. So this is kind of a series of unfortunate mistakes.
We make plays, but we don't actually call plays. Are they really plays? Is the
No, they're just feeding, right?
plays just happen. They aren't actual plays.
Maybe divided.
Okay.
Or send Discord, or send Discord.
I need you,
Send Discord, send it.
And now we're on Moira. I understand. I understand why it happened.
Original, I can't put it
Hands
on.
on left, hands on left. Because I know I can get. I used to be a more one trick. It's easy. And then you can just like.
How'd you die, Fricky?
Mercy one.
Original, I can't put it on.
Hands on left, hands on left. Oh yeah, no, you.
Oh my god, it peeks you through the tiniest little fucking gap in that shoe.
Yeah, no, I call it's there, but it's not.
Okay, that's unlucky.
Hands on.
You do.
Yeah, I'm pushing Hanzo.
We now have like the best defensive position
Push
ever,
Orisa with me.
and we decide that we're gonna play like we back up really late. I think. Do we? No, maybe we come back okay.
Where's the no golden?
Froky's like, you guys are retarded, don't play there, so we walk back.
Hey, back
In a
up.
much nicer way. He doesn't say that, obviously. He says we're 4.
He abuses us daily. He calls us retarded like 10 times for screen.
Okay, I've never called you guys retarded.
So I just want to
Shut
point out this choke is like fucking good. There's if you push back here, there's kind of no point playing anywhere out here, right? You
Wait,
all
do we
know
just play behind?
how hard it is to push through that choke, right? Let
Yeah,
alone if you've set up with a crossfire.
Do we just play behind pillar, or do we just take a bit of poke first and then fall back?
Behind the pillar, probably. I'd just.
Why set out forwards? Why take the risk? What advantage does it give you?
Because they
Maybe
can bomb you easily if they.
we can get fortify out maybe, and then once we back up, they can't push us, and then we get a.
What difference does it
time
make
off.
if you get fortify out playing here rather than playing here?
I don't fucking know actually.
Oh, yeah,
I think you take the L
yeah,
and you go back.
me neither. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just it, right? You set up your shield back here. You're good, right? It's really hard for anything to go wrong, right? Again, like percentage play. There's 36 seconds left. They got to walk all the fucking way. They don't kill anyone, and then it's gonna be OT no matter what when they push this. You're playing back here.
Yeah.
I think it's OT when they get it anyway.
By the way, am I fucking dead? There's a fucking.
Yeah,
laser in my
I
head.
was wondering too.
No, you're fine.
What?
Ow!
But this is the thing, because you see my angle. I'm just like, where the fuck is Lethal? This is a.
Oh no, I was turbo turret here. I would have killed 2 if I had 100 MS, no cap. The Zen and Widow would have died. Straight up.
But like I said, right, we have this really powerful choke that we can play. It's just unnecessary, right? We're on defense.
But it wins us a fight. Like
Yeah, but it's gonna
makes it
be
close.
overtime. They get one. If you kill the Zen and whoever else you said, they still have 30 seconds.
Now this kill is great. The kill is nice. It does burn that time. They res, but yeah, you then stay here too long. I think you stay here too long and then you get killed.
I
Yeah, there you go.
on my screen I killed the Widow. It was a full kill, like no cap.
But this like hard baits our tanks into let's play in dog shit town.
Yeah.
And then we're dead.
Anyone in car? Why are you walking out?
I don't know. NKZ doesn't realize it's there.
I don't.
But even if you're in it, you're dead anyway. You're dead anyway, no matter what, right? We're like, just because Lethal's hard baited us here and our tanks come here and we just don't play this really good position, we just die.
And there, I'm gonna trance. I remember it. I'm wasting it.
Yes.
There was no point there. I thought I could save the Orisa, but I was.
But this is just like a series of mistakes, right? And the key here is just play that advantageous
Yeah, but
positioning
even
you
if
have.
you save the Orisa, what is that?
There was no point. There was no point.
Okay.
It was just my brain. It's
Dude,
shut
I'm
down
actually
for a second.
Regardless of all of that, let's not end up fighting here if the cart's this far back, right? Because this position is so much better.
So we only want to take like this position or this position. Like this is just dog shit when they have a diva.
It's really bad for the Diva Bomb, isn't it?
Cover here,
Honestly,
cover
I
here.
really, really just hate this corner. You're so much better playing here or here. Just because of this, like it makes it really hard to play on this corner because you can get off-angled on both sides, right? And then your backline gets really separated, no matter what. Whereas
Yeah, I agree.
it makes it really hard to play as a backline, even as DPS, right? Because they can pressure you from both angles. It's just really not great, especially when you're on defense. You know, like you want to make it as hard for them as possible. You want to burn all this clock off. So why take the disadvantageous fight when you're the one that dictates it, right? But yeah, I mean, I think we had no idea of the ults either because we wouldn't have been up here if we'd known about the Diva Bomb. And yeah, Lethal didn't need to be there anyway. Like we said, just play this choke. Take the fight that's better for you.
You guys can call May Hanzo for stall.
And
I think isn't the peak what I did kind of okay if I ended up killing the Widow as well?
I mean, if you're just gonna fucking kill 2 people off of it out of pure mechanics, then I mean, yeah. But can you guarantee that you're gonna do that every single time? Whereas
Yes.
if you
But
can guarantee
no. But
whenever
I
you-
think part
No,
of it as
actually, I
well.
can.
Part of it is in this situation where they have Diva Bomb. It's not worth it.
Maybe.
In
They're gonna bomb
another
it,
case
they're
where
gonna
they have no ults at all, You're like, I'm going to go for an aggressive peak. And in which case we would have set our tanks up slightly further forwards, right? Because they were kind of too far back here anyway. Like, if our tanks were prepared to go up to this corner and they didn't have Diva Bomb, yeah, I'm down.
But okay, if I would have killed Widow there, right? The Diva's forced to go to me, so they basically we have 4 seconds of no Diva Bomb. And plus pressure on the Diva.
But in the end, it doesn't
But you
matter.
actually could have you could have demexed the Diva before this happened, but you're so tilted on fucking killing this Widow. Like, look, she stick scored in 1 HP after this kill. I don't know, and you're still trying to shoot at this Widow. And this is again
I shot her once, and then
you're trying to shoot.
It was weird because like I can't really go for the Diva because I don't clue she was low. So if I killed Widow, I would probably go for Diva next. But
well, biggest thing here is not recognizing what our win con is, right? Or what theirs is, especially. We know they have bomb. We don't want to play aggressive into this bomb because it just puts you out of position in bunker, right? So much better to play passive positioning into bomb. Does that?
Yeah.
Unless someone feels differently, I think playing aggressively into bomb as a bunker comp is really tough, especially on this point. Like I already said, this corner's dog shit. I don't really want to talk about this much longer, right? I think I've made my opinion clear on that one.
Yes.
I
don't know how
this retake could have worked out. Think if we had maybe gone a slightly better composition. We'd just gone like if he'd gone monkey, like he's not. This is not going to help you. He's not going to get 14. Well, he probably will, but too many people will be dead by the time you farm that last bit. I still think monkey's better, right? I don't agree with the Hanzo either, right? Go Tracer or something that's going to stay alive.
He's literally dragging the car. He'll probably
Oh, you're right.
dragging the car.
Shooting point.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he tries to walk out and he walks into this. Yeah.
But why would you come out on Hanzo? Yeah, you should just go like better
And you
after you drag him.
And the thing is, since you've been on Moira this whole time, Froki, Nat can't go Moira and you can't go Lucio.
Yeah.
So we can't have a good comp. You probably should go Ana in this case, Nat, unless your Lucio is good.
My Lucio was good at one point, but it's terrible right now.
This is the problem,
And
right?
I think
Froki shouldn't have been on
Brig, but I
Moira
didn't
at
have
this
the
point.
time.
Right? Your still pick should still be Lucio, Froki. Because then Nat can go Moira. Just in this case, you still want to get a decent comp, right? And if you go Tracer, Doomfist, Bull fucking Monkey, you're going to kill shit, right? Like, for sure. That's the only way we bring this back. Better composition here would have been better, but we lose anyway. Okay. We're only 30 minutes over time here. Let's get onto this attack then, shall we?
Not too bad.
That's
If
fine.
we get to 2 hours, do you charge us another 14?
That's okay. I like you guys.
We don't have 14, bro. So it's out of luck if you try.
I need heals. Yo, I need heals. Thank you.
So Froki's like, what the fuck? I told you what comp we were going to play. We're like fucking around for 30 million years, and then we go to the comp that he says we should play. What do we think our win con is here in the dry fight?
Get Ash off high ground however we can.
Like very
like,
basic. Sorry, go ahead again, Kizzy.
Yeah, like I fucking hate it to play Rodok against the Mei because I feel like I'm complete dog shit against it. So I just like to play Diva, eat the halt, and eat Blizzard sometimes, I guess.
I think retroactively Diva Roar should be better because then you can fly up.
I think I
And then we can
Diva.
take this high ground. Like,
Yeah.
I agree. Controlling the high ground is important.
In general, against like unless we ourselves.
So
have
if we
like
play
Mei as
Diva,
well.
any other swap? There's one I have in mind.
Like, what?
Is there another swap that we should make if we're going to play Diva?
So
So what changes if we play Diva?
Me to Mercy.
100%, yeah.
What
Because
changes?
we're
is
playing to
that-
control this high ground, right? That is what we're doing in my mind. If we go Diva, we go Mercy, we control this high ground, and that way we pressure them to the backer point, right? But we need to have a plan in mind, right? If we play this, I don't think there's a problem with this. But what do we do if we play this comp?
We have to take our time. We have to rotate. We have to force them onto the point and get rid of their crossfires. and then push.
Like, there's also no
I think
point
I think
in-
you're maybe overthinking it a little bit, Froky. And what I'm looking for, right, is we have more
Well, this Ash is gonna
we have
dick us,
we have
so, like-
more shield break. We break the shield. We play together and we farm this, and then we have more shield break. Right. This is going to be our win con. We're going to farm this. Right. If you're going to play Baptiste, you're going to have to farm Baptiste ult because he is
I agree, but like I
not
think we're
worth
just gonna
otherwise.
get dicked by that Ash if we don't get her off high ground. Because if we, like you say, same rotation, go sit here because you can't go onto point, and you could flank around this way, but it's not that useful. Then the Ash is just going to farm us from above, and if we don't have D.Va, we have no way to, stop her from
Well, you
doing
could
that. Besides, like,
pull
a
her.
hook.
You just
Yeah, but
focus
then
your
their
pull
front
hooks
line's
on
kinda
her.
free. Yeah, do we?
It doesn't matter. Their front line's fucking dog shit if you've got more shield break, right? You're breaking the shield, their front line should be pressured back. If you just walk out and fucking hard fuck the shield, tanks have to go back, this guy's exposed, and then your hook pulls are constantly on these guys, right? And he is scared of that. He is really scared of that, and you can see it by how he plays. But we just, again, like, need to recognize what we're gonna do and what our win con is, right?
She's not capped.
But for some reason, and I don't want to like harp on about this so much, but we just try this rotation like 3 times and we just get fucked over and over again.
Yeah, I
When-
get it shot
when-
times in a row, I think.
We simply don't need to do that, right? We have better shield break. We sit here, we break their fucking shield, we pressure them back, and then we take point, right? You can just bunker up and you farm this ult, and once you get that, right, by the time they're pressured back here, you're gonna be 70, 80 to that ult, right? Especially if you've been eating this guy's ease. And then you win.
Shield, I'm
But we just get picked over and over again, so I'm just gonna skip through this, right? We're trying to make this like retard rotation. I think we do it again. Nat gets picked this time, which is unlucky.
No way, no.
But we weren't really
Can
stacked
we
up
go for it?
enough.
Can we push? Alright, we can keep pushing. Our Zen is almost back. I'm pushing up.
I need his back.
Pulling.
Reloading. Can't help you,
Okay,
guys.
But we have swapped to this, so we don't have the same amount of shield break. Right, we do get Froki's ult off. I think, do we win off this?
Nice.
Ash
I don't have the same amount of shield break, but I feel like I can deny more shield break from them.
Pulling.
They wasted now.
But you
So
are
in the
you
end,
playing
we
to
still do
mitigate it, or are you playing to break the shield, right? Because if you're playing to mitigate the effect of them, then you put Froki on Mercy, and you put you on D.Va, right? You play to counterplay them. Right, which is quite different to having him on this, to playing for the offensive ult, right? In which case you get more value if you play Roadhog. Because the damage boost is much more useful for you, right? And ultimately, this is just about having that clean plan at the start, right? In the first place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
If he goes deep, I go Mercy.
Yeah, it ultimately depends on how you want to play, right? If you want to play the more defensive style, that's cool, right? Then play that style and rock it, right? Or you play the more offensive style, you play with the Roadhog, right? You deal with feeling like you have less value, but you're just shooting a shield. I understand how that feels, right? But
So boring.
that's it, right? You got to choose what playstyle you're going to play and what your win condition is going to be, right?
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, going back.
So we fuck this up, right? Because that was our big win con, right? That was what we wanted. In my mind, when you were playing the Roadhog, we just commit around this corner, we get that shield down, we break the shield, they're pressured off point, and then we win. In theory.
Back off.
Right.
Back off. We're 2 down.
So now I'm kind of not
Hog on
sure.
me. Pulling hog.
I'm having it.
Kill the hog.
So we go Anna.
Orisa.
So now we've got a lot of defensive capabilities. So what do we do?
Probably try and force them to use their ults and then parry them away for a bit. Like, try and get them to Blizzard and try and live through it or eat it or whatever. But it's not like a proactive play style, you know what I mean? We can't really do a proactive play unless
No.
Nat somehow manages to get up here.
And I don't think you really punish people either. In my mind, the only thing you do is just your tanks play so aggro and you farm these ults.
Yeah, that would be it.
I think that's kind of it, right? Because you have a lot more sustain than them. Well, you don't actually. It's probably pretty comparable. But with the D.Va, in theory, you have more sustain. Your tanks just have to play kind of aggro, take a lot of space, and use those defensive capabilities, much like you do in Goats, right? Where you just fucking lob yourself down in the spot and control it, and then run at something. you have to think you're kind of playing the same style, right? You've got lots of defensive capabilities, lots of sustain, so you want to take space with your tanks. And then maybe you can get a flank off with a lethal Zardu or something, but you need to recognize how you're going to play, right? And I think...
I mean, now our win con's probably just Blizzard stacked together because they have no way to mitigate it.
Yeah.
Transfer Matrix and then...
Yeah, just walk onto point, don't be scared of their damage because you've got a lot of sustain. And then, yeah, play for your Blizzard, I guess, yeah. Hope that you can eat this. You probably have to go lose another fight, I think, actually, right? Because they're so far ahead on alt economy.
I would say that would
what's my next view?
Like, realistically, right? I'm talking about, you know, if you're in an even game, you have to go lose this next fight, probably.
Alright, do the same thing. Rotate left side.
For some reason, I don't really understand what this is about, right?
Dyer is making the call.
I understand, but why does no one, like, counter calls him? Or,
No, because he says go left, and then he just hides on this corner.
like, what's... It's just, like, my mind is always, okay, so what does it do for our team? Like, how does it help us in any way? What advantage does it give us making... Because rotations are risky, right? People catch you off on rotations. That's the whole point.
The only advantage I can fathom is that Nat might have time to go up here, and then maybe do... It's the only advantage I can...
Yeah, I don't know, right? But if he pressures them back here, then you still end up with a crossfire if someone's up here and your tanks are here, right? And it's much less risky because you're all together. I don't know. But we somehow win this fight. No, we win this fight off a Blizzard, actually. So we do end up winning it off a Blizzard.
It's like they have no way to mitigate our Blizzard.
Nice.
Yeah.
They'll stack like this.
Get fucked, bro.
I'm on hog.
Oh, and then NKZ eats their Blizzard, which is huge.
So predictable.
The only thing that I kind of dislike... I don't know if you could have done it, but if you... So this is, I mean, how much did you play D.Va and Goats or in Dive, NKZ? I guess...
Never in Dive. Did play it a bit in Goats.
Because some advice that I'd give to a lot of D.Va players is anytime you shift, if you can end on high ground, right? Because it's harder for them to do anything to you. Not that it would have made a difference here, but if you'd shifted in and landed up here, it might have been slightly better for you.
I was like, I did my job. I ate the mail.
Just feed yourself to them, right?
Just fucking Japanese feed into the fucking.
Thankfully, your boy Froki coming in with the immortality.
Yeah,
dude, it makes so much space. This immo actually.
I just my playstyle as D.Va. I have a task. Once I completed it, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Why are we bonging?
Right.
He's decided.
He Valked and he's already used res, but he did Valk. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sardi's asleep over here. I don't think it's that bad. But I think the biggest mistake that he makes is he's playing too passively here, right? We're all fucking... We all have all the sustain in the universe. Lethal's here not calling for heals. That's just like, yo, I've got to shoot them, boys. Lethal's here fucking 1 HP, like, I'm good, dude.
I think I'm full spamming X.
We were all
probably, yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Dude, Levo was always full spamming X, didn't it?
Would have been nice to have you on full HP here. Broky's just missing all the shots. He gets it eventually.
I have to fucking jump up.
I don't exactly know why I bomb.
Okay, so...
Right, we pressured them off point. I think at that point you don't want to be using anything.
I thought it was like we got too little picks, so I just decided, oh fuck it.
And actually, you're right. Dyer's ult here is bad because we have all of these, and you want to use these to cycle them. So actually, it should be one of these that comes out first, right? Because you want to use this to charge ults. So it's not really great. Either way, no point looking at his play too much.
I'm burning. I'm ready.
This is better positioning from Dyer.
I'm ready.
I'm reloading. I just have bad pronunciation.
Watch this mate stagger for 17 years.
Hog is staggering himself here. If we can push him. Can we push the Hog?
No, Dyer's like, go. And everyone's like, whoa, I'll just take the long route. I'm just chilling on cart.
What the fuck is like, we are no way.
And he's half HP.
Dude, no one gives a shit about this Hog. Like, Dyer's like, let's go. And everyone's like, no, I love the cart, boys.
Like, we don't have anything to kill it though. Like, he's too far away. We don't have a hawk to hook him.
You got
to be
hands,
fair,
don't they?
if we hold him.
Yeah, but Nat is nowhere near.
So what's our win
It's like,
con in this
No, I
in this
wasn't
next fight?
though.
Push up.
what, hard hook? I mean, fuck.
Literally anything
Like-
that means that our front line wins while denying their snipers angles, because we have a better front line because they pick Widow now.
And you
They have no
you
shield
still have in
whatsoever.
theory better sustain. Right. So this is gonna be all about our tanks taking all the space in the fucking world. And yeah, I think Pull Dragon though is still our play here, right? They don't have a defensive ult. Pull Dragon, tanks go super hard. You got Nano if you need it, NKZ. That can finish up this fight. In my mind, that's what we're gonna go for.
You're staying on
I
the
think I
main.
died. I'm fucked, yeah.
Oh,
Come fucked.
I'm getting
I
out.
don't think we talk about what we're gonna do. Like,
Good sight line
I'm
on
gonna
me.
go right back
gonna-
actually
Yeah,
because
he's
it's important.
staggering.
But he went Widow instead of Ash.
So we just look at they swap to.
I'll just keep
Hog is
looking.
staggering himself here. If we can push him.
Yeah, that's
Can we
nice.
push the Hog? Push Hog? Yeah, he's main.
So I feel like there's a lot of space here for more communication in terms of our planning for the next fight, right?
Yeah.
And you really want so the first thing you want to ult track, right? The swaps are nice, so I guess swaps, then ult track, then the plan, right? This is fine. You don't really need to communicate much more than all of you going for it, right? But we do need that ult track and that plan.
May is bad spawn. We're gonna stop the
He's
hunter.
half.
Fucking dies. Shit my head.
Widow has good sightline on me. Just
If
put
he-
Payload into this a bit closer. She's
Right,
like back, top
she's
left.
up. Nice.
No pull hook.
You're staying on the main.
You've literally said it like a bajillion times, Froki, and you're just still peeking him like you don't give a fuck.
There is no reason for me to do that. I mean, I
There
have
actually
dreams
isn't,
to-
right? Like, and what is that? And their wink on. What are they looking for?
A
Take
pick.
angles.
Picks, right? They're taking angles. They're gonna go for picks. That is exactly what they're trying to do, right? So don't give them the opportunities, right? We fucking bunker the shit fuck up. We all group. Like, you probably almost play this like Ghost, right? You just fucking walk together and just fucking walk into their front line and let your tanks tank everything. You got all the sustain in the universe.
I think we need to.
Floki was literally saying Widow has good sidelines
Yeah, he
while
said it
jumping
fucking
in
50
his
times and
sideline.
just ignores it.
Okay,
Wait, I'm almost there. You can drag in the tanks.
Pegasus.
I'm down.
And Lethal's just like, I'm just gonna kill all their team while our front line is not dying.
5v5, 4v5.
But I don't think we recognize in this comp in general, right? You just have a lot more sustain. You can play a lot more aggressively with your front line. It kind of needed to be vocalized, right? I think it's kind of maybe more obvious when you look back at it now. Like, you want to play a lot more aggressive with your front line in general with this comp. Trying to make that rotation
Yeah.
first point wasn't ideal.
Mercy can die.
I think generally whenever I'm BAP and not Mercy, I should just go aggro.
I think the reason why we didn't go super aggro was because Floki died and because we didn't really know.
I'm more mean
position
I'm more
ourselves
mean
against
like on
Widow.
the first point, but I think it's like when you're like comp versus comp, you kind of want to recognize what your generic win condition is, right? I think more, maybe that's not the right word, but like your play style versus their comp, right? What's their play style and what's your play style? Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's something I can say at the beginning, like, we're just going to go do this and blah, 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 blah. If they have May, we're not going to look for whole
Yeah.
so much.
Because if you
Like that.
establish like your playstyle at the start, then like you only have to really talk about the ults in between fights. I mean, obviously they're going to change up what they're going to do. You want to think about how they're going to change up their playstyle. Yeah. Okay. Let's carry on. We win this fight because we actually go aggro.
Widow's coming back from one. Widow's
Maybe.
back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kind of unfortunate that we used this because I think we'd already won the fight when you used your ult, Froki.
No. He says. Oh yeah.
Well, they definitely lost this fight, right? We went for that front line
Small
battle.
assist. Small assist on Odysseus. Nice.
Nice.
Come on. Mercy.
Widow's coming back from one. Widow's
Maybe.
back.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at least we have
can
Blizzard
drag-
as another win con for next fight, because again, they have no fucking counterplay.
Drag in first, May ult after if we need to.
So, I mean, you guys probably know this, but typically you want to use whatever charge is slowest first. Just because that makes cycling your ults more effective, right? You get slightly
we
more
do Blizzard
efficiency.
before
So
we
you
Dragon.
should probably Blizzard before you Dragon. Yeah.
Okay. Alright, in future we can do week. I'll stop talking.
Wait, May ult first?
No, Dragon first.
Oh,
Dragon first.
Dragon first.
I don't know. Going for Dragon first is kind of okay. It's hard. I've not spent enough time thinking about it because obviously the Dragon is much less reliable. I still think going for the Mayolt first is better.
My thing is they don't have a diva, so I think you go for the Mayolt, and you can even shoot the dragon right after.
Yeah.
Just to even put like extra
sure.
pressure. There's no reason.
I
not.
think the only reason why we wanted to save the Blizzard is to counter theirs, but I'm not 100%
Didn't we
sure.
mail
Yeah, but if
first?
we can get ours off first, that just puts us in the.
I think we said pull dragon first, and then Zaldu says "fuck you" and Blizzards anyway.
Yeah, I think this is the part where he does it first.
No, we do pull dragon. We do dragon first.
Okay.
And then
really low. That's good. And then Blizzard in here is probably fine, right? Yeah, no, it's fine.
we blizzard
No,
we blizzard on that blizzard.
Break shield.
But we have immos, so we're
No,
okay.
you tell what I can tell you exactly what you win this off. But you
I
guys
have lethal being good.
lethal on the
Anti
fucking
probably helped a
lethal
lot.
on the hard flank, dude. He wins you this fight hardcore. He is on this fucking fat off angle the whole fight. And they just don't contest him because Edin's dead. So he just win.
what do they
You just
have?
win this with lethal on this hard off angle, which is really good.
I still think our Blizzard is better than theirs though, because they had like what only Diet in it who'd fortified immediately, and we had like
And
Diva.
me.
Okay, he took hands
No, Dire wasn't in it.
Who's
It was
Zardu?
only NKZ and Zardu, but Zardu ice blocked. I don't think Dire
Yeah,
was
so,
even
like,
in it. He walked
We had
out.
better.
I hard felt like one of them does.
Give you a shield.
You got this lethal.
Giving a shield.
Easy. Who's eating? Dog.
You got him, dude.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna.
Okay.
We can pull bomb first.
It's actually kind of hard
They
to
have
use
nothing
my
against
square
that.
here because as soon as I use it, they're just going to go behind one of these
We can wipe
walls.
them with it.
It's pretty much impossible.
Like pull bomb first.
Unless you
keep the
combine it with
refugees
a
for the
pull, but then they
staggers.
now have divas.
It's
So
gonna be
that's
I
a bit
like how we
hard to
called
do.
the pull bomb's good. I'd probably still use Blizzard first.
Okay, you can just wait it out.
I mean, if we can get the payload to where it's one fight and just press every single Q button all at once, then the game's over.
Wait.
Depends on.
Actually, I think if they're retarded enough to try and fight you here, probably just win the shield war.
And we have the Diva Boom in it.
But this is and actually right, Froki. I think if they're dumb enough to push here, then
I can actually.
you can. Yes, you can just use square and you just fucking man up together. Excuse me, sorry.
I got
Can
6
you bomb?
ults.
Can you bomb?
What the fuck?
Yeah, go.
Do it whenever.
This will probably.
You just pop the
I think
bomb. The bomb works out. Then we drag him. And now it is one fight territory.
I'm gonna nade them.
She can't run, but still
Nice. Pulling.
really hard to get.
I'm gonna Orisa.
to be honest.
Everybody Orisa.
Stay arrested.
Orisa's low.
I know
behind
you,
me.
okay.
Diva's one, I got stuff.
Hands low. I'm dead.
Ursa about to get frozen. Ursa
I'm going
frozen.
super aggro because I'm nano.
Nice.
Emerald cart.
Yeah, we went
Diva's
now.
going right.
I feel like I was
That-
gonna focus on the Ursa a bit better.
Picking up.
Well, and I think part of this as well is inadvertently, you guys kind of play much more grouped, which is much better when you have these high sustain comps, right? You play more of that goat style play, right? Which is like I said, like just identifying what your play style is going to be when you play that particular. Are we all happy?
Yeah, I think we have this recorded, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, cool.
I'll end the recording here.